Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Hi, I'm Mark Parvinen. On February 8, 2008, I accepted Mariah's challenge. And here's what Mariah's challenge means to me. It means not just saying no to drinking and driving, but for me personally, it meant saying no to alcohol altogether. I wanted to set a better example for my kids and my grandkids to show them that adults could have fun too without alcohol being involved. But it also means having the courage to look myself in the mirror and make a change. It means being the best person I can possibly be for myself and my family. It means growing old and helping others do the same. I'm Mark Parvinen, and I accept Mariah's challenge. I hope you can join me and show that you too are Butte tough. Thank you.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Casa Grande Steakhouse. From day one, Casa Grande has been a proud sponsor of the ButteCast. It has also long been the place to go for fine dining in the mining city. At Casa Grande's, they welcome you not as a customer, but as a part of their extended family. Oh, and the food is to die for. From mouth-watering steaks to fresh sushi, the family-owned restaurant is sure to leave you satisfied. Stop in tonight for dinner or quench your thirst at Guido's Bar. Also, don't forget Casa Grande's wide range of personalized catering options for any sized occasion. Weddings, parties, receptions, holiday get-togethers, and more. Casa Grande's has been catering the Butte Sports Hall of Fame banquets, and the meal is always a highlight of the special night. Casa Grande Steakhouse. Eat where the locals eat. Now, let's get the show started.
Welcome to the ButteCast with Bill Foley. It's a podcast about the greatest city in the world, Butte, America.
Amen.
Let's meet the people and characters who make Butte the richest hill on earth.
Woo-hoo!
Now, here's my dad, Bill Foley.
Proud to be from Butte, America, USA.
Today's guest is a member of not one, not two, but three sports halls of fame. Linda Lyons Paull is a 1976 graduate of Butte High School. She was inducted into the Montana Coaches Hall of Fame in 2018, the Helena Sports Hall of Fame in 2022, and the Butte Sports Hall of Fame in 2024. She is also one of the distinguished coaches whose name hangs on the wall in the coaches' corner at the Metal Sports Bar and Grill. Linda was a gymnastics, track, and cross-country coach for many years at Helena High. She coached the gymnastics team from 1980 through 1989, and her squad won the state title in 1988. She served as head coach of the Helena High girls track team from 1993 through 2000, winning the state title in 2000. She then concluded her coaching career leading the girls cross-country team from 2008 through 2019, and the Bengals placed third in her final year. That was the first trophy in cross-country for the Helena High girls in 34 years. Before she was a physical education teacher and coach, Linda was an outstanding athlete. She was part of Butte High's first two girls basketball teams. She really excelled in gymnastics, where she competed for the Montana State Bobcats. She competed for the Cats for 4 years and qualified for regionals each year. Earlier today, I met Linda inside the vault at the Metal Sports Bar and Grill for a fun conversation. Listening to hear when she says what it was like when Butte High School first started the girls basketball program and how the girls had to learn the game for the first time. Listen to what it was like for Linda to grow up in the mining city, where she attended a small school in Rocker before moving to Whittier Elementary School. Listen as she talks about her days at Montana State and how she got into coaching in Helena. Listen as she talks about some of her teams and the many athletes she coached over the years. Listen to hear that Linda will always be a Butte girl. If you are enjoying these podcasts, make sure to tell your friends and show those in your life who might not be so technologically savvy how they too can listen in. And please thank our sponsors if you get the chance. Our sponsors are the ones who bring us these conversations and make sure they are always for free. So let them know you heard them on the ButteCast. Drop me a line at full74@gmail.com if you would like to advertise your business on the podcast. The podcast and website, buttecast.com, have a big reach for not-so-big prices. Let me know if there's someone you would like to see featured on the podcast or if you would like to tell your story on the ButteCast. First, let's catch up with a 3-time Hall of Fame athlete and coach, Linda Lyons Paull.
Proud to be from Butte, America, USA.
Well, Linda, I appreciate you coming in to Metals to talk with me today. It was pretty good timing, I guess. Thanksgiving, you coming in.
Thanks, Bill, for having me here,
Worked
too.
out all right. Well, I've been wanting to talk to you on the podcast for a long time just because, well, the Hall of Fame, you went in the Butte Sports Hall of Fame last summer, and then now we're getting ready for the next class to come out next summer. You know, and I was just thinking about some of because that was such a great class, the class of 2024.
It was an awesome class. Amazing people in there.
Yeah, and yourself included there, you know, and it was a great class. It was probably the best class we had for women as far as, you know, not just quality, but quantity.
Right.
You know, I think it might be the most we've ever had go in at the same time as women. And that's because we have Kathy Tuddy on our committee.
Exactly.
And that's what, you know, and that's one thing I worked on is we got, you know, women are well represented on the selection committee. I was shooting for 50-50, but I ended up going 7 men, 5 women.
That's pretty good.
You know, and but there was a rule before. It was like just in the way that the system was set up, 2 men would be voted in for just the general athletic category, and 1 woman would be voted in. And then there's a coach, there's a special category, there's veterans, there's all these things, and the men would always get those categories. So I said, well, we're going to go 2 women. It was before Kathy came. Luckily, I had it done. I said, I'm not going to be part of a thing that in the rules is discriminated against women. so I think it's worked out pretty well. And, you know, of course, you know, Kathy, Kathy was practically standing on the table when we were voting to vote for, because she's a great thing about her is she just knows sports.
Exactly, and the history.
And she's right around the same era. You know, she knows the 60s, 70s, and 80s and stuff really well, you know. And she's helping me this year. We're going to nominate even more,
Awesome.
get more women nominated that I didn't pay attention to because, unfortunately, I didn't really pay attention to girls' sports until I had to as a sports writer. You know,
Right.
You know, I always paid attention to Lady Grizz. I covered the Lady Grizz, and I really like that. But I never paid attention to girls' sports, and it's really kind of what girls have gone through. You know, they're pretty good footy now. I mean, the girls and boys are really good footy, but it's thanks to people like you because you grew up when didn't have any footy,
right?
As an athlete, because you were in the first basketball team at Butte High, right?
Yes, yeah. My junior year was our first year we had it at Butte. Yeah.
Yeah, and did you play basketball before that?
Nope.
You just went out, they had a team, I'm going to go play?
Yep, I'm just going to go try out and see what happens, and if I don't make it, maybe I could be manager or whatever, and I made the team, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
Really? So did you shoot baskets and stuff before?
Yeah, dink it around. I mean, everyone played outside and played in the parks and stuff like that, but it was nothing like you knew the game. I mean, we had to learn the game.
Yeah. Yeah, because now these girls grow up. They're watching the games all the time. I mean, like,
totally.
You look at these Butte High girls, like the Graham sisters.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they were in 8th grade, they were varsity level players.
Exactly.
And they knew the game inside and out, and they played thousands and thousands of games before they stepped foot. Your first game in varsity basketball was your first game ever.
Exactly. I mean, times have definitely changed, and those Graham sisters are amazing. And coming from small communities in Montana, that's what they do. They go to the gyms and they play sports, and the bigger cities aren't always like that.
Yeah, and there's my kids, I know that I struggle to get them outside.
Right.
You know, we buy them the bikes. You know, we buy them anything. They want to get a trampoline. We had a playhouse at one point in time, and then I was like, we're bored.
You're like, what?
And I'm like, my God, I'd have killed to have a trampoline. And we didn't have the video. We had video games when I was a kid, but we didn't have them like. You couldn't play with your friends unless your friends came over to your house.
Right.
Now my son looks like he's a Time Life operator talking to like 40 friends at the same time while he's playing games.
Yeah. I know how they do that night fort or whatever now. It's crazy.
Fortnite, yeah.
Yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah.
We used to, just go outside. We'd say, okay, meet at this park at this time. And then we'd know in Butte here, that at 9 o'clock when those sirens at racetrack went off, you were on your way home. It was like sprinting home to get there before they quit.
I think about that. I'll be walking my dogs up around the Big M. I walk in the dark with my newer dog, so she doesn't fight every other dog. And I hear that right before 9 o'clock. Yep. It's my cell phone, I believe, is right because of the GPS and all that stuff. But like at 8:59, that racetrack fire siren still goes off. And I think of all the kids that had to be home when that went off. It was just like a parade of kids around town going home.
Exactly. You'd see people running or biking or whatever to get home.
Yeah. Did you play any sports when you were younger before you started basketball?
I played softball, City League softball. We started when we were like in junior high, so that would have been 8th and 9th grade. We bowled. I bowled in a bowling league. On Saturday mornings, there was a whole group of us that would bowl out at Star Lanes. My family, we camped, we rode motorcycles, we snowmobiled, so that was like the major part of what I grew up with.
Yeah. Where did you grow up at?
Down on the flats.
Really?
Yeah.
What schools?
I went to, first grade on, I went to Whittier. But before that, I lived in Rocker, and started there before we moved into town.
There's a school in Rocker?
There was a school in Rocker.
Where was the school at?
It's now a house, but if you're going down towards the big gas stations, it's on the left and it sits by itself. And it's like a 2-story thing that somebody bought and turned into a house, but it was a 2-room schoolhouse. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I had no idea that there was a school in Rocker.
Yep.
And where did you live, like right in the town of Rocker, by like Nick's Bluebird kind of?
No, we lived out by where, it was the stockyards. My dad helped run that, manage the stockyards. So it was before Rocker, and then we'd take the bus into Rocker.
Oh, you took the bus,
Yeah.
the big bus to Rocker. How many kids were in the school?
Not very many. There were like 3 of us in first grade when we started, and they had like 1 through 5 on one side and 6 through 8 on the other side, and then you would go into the high schools.
Well, it makes the Ramsey School look like a giant.
Exactly.
Huh? Well, that's great. So and then you transferred into Whittier. Whittier must have felt huge because Whittier was always a big school.
It was a big school, and I was probably behind in education part because of going to a 2-room schoolhouse and had to work hard to get caught up and stuff in the bigger school system and what they expected. But
yeah,
it was
imagine
fun.
that'll always be tough to do that. I had Jim Barry on the podcast a while, and he went to Divide in a small schoolhouse out there, which I believe is still running.
They still have one, yeah.
I always wondered what that was like when you're in the same room you're in kindergarten, you're in the same room as a 4th grader.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
It'd be tough the teacher has to be multi-talented.
Multi-talented and task-orientated and trying to keep the levels all separate. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because you're bouncing back and forth from different, I don't know how they do it. They must,
yeah.
And they probably don't get paid as much as
I'm sure
teachers.
not. They don't.
Get paid more.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Yeah, and then you went to Whittier, and then was East
Junior High. So at that time there was East Junior High and West Junior High.
Yeah.
So we had 2 here.
So 3 years at East, right?
3 years at East, and then 10th grade we went up to Butte High. So it was a 3-year high school then.
Were there any girls' sports when you first started?
We had GAC, Girls Athletic Club. So like it was an intramural program. So you did volleyball and you could do like water polo because Butte had the little pool.
Yeah.
They didn't have basketball or anything there, but they had track, so we did track and stuff. And, growing up in Butte, you not figure skated. Some kids figure skated, but we speed skated. And it was pretty funny when we moved to Helena, my husband and I, and we took our kids to the city park, and we pulled out our long blades, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you guys must be from Butte." We're like, "Yep."
Everybody speed skated at Butte.
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. There was even when I was a kid, I hated speed skating because it hurt my feet. It was cold, and you started at the same place. You stopped at the same place you started. My mom used to make me go. My brothers were good, and my mom was a good St. John's skater back in the day. But everybody skated every weekend. There was a 2-day meet.
Yep.
And now there's like 1 meet.
Exactly.
It's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It's really amazing how big that skating club was. I mean, they brought Mike Crokin from Minnesota
trained him.
To teach him.
Yep.
It was a big deal, and it was really big until like the late '80s, and then we get the best facility around, and then it dies.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's like so ironic that happened. They skated at Clark Park.
Yep. Oh, that's where we skated all the time.
And I think there was a place somewhere by the Front Street Safeway.
Yes,
Wasn't
there was.
a big
There
rink
was
somewhere?
little skating rinks everywhere. There was one up by the hospital, too, where the baseball field is, somewhere up there. But then they made, when they got rid of Clark's big one, they made a big one out by where Highland View Golf Course is, where the par 3 is. They had
hole number 8.
there.
That's where I skated.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't. I quit before the high altitude opened up.
Right.
And I didn't faze me at all. Everyone's like, "Don't you wish you skated here?" I was like, "No, I didn't." My mom literally would drag me out of the house, kicking and screaming at the skating practice. My dad would be, "Oh, leave him alone,"
That's funny.
And then when I did finally quit, 4th grade, I just said, "I'm not skating."
Right.
And my mom says to me, she says, "Fine, you don't have to skate." And then she pointed at me and says, "But you're skating in the school races." She was like the Earl Woods of skating moms.
Oh my God.
And I had chicken pox that weekend, so I never had to skate in the school races, and I haven't put skates on again, and I don't miss it.
No, I bet. But that was one thing we remember, too, growing up in elementary. We had that big city skating events that you had different, speed levels and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
different types of races and stuff, and it was always at Clark's Park, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's what my mom always liked, because St. John's dominated that when she was a little girl.
Okay.
You know, that was my grandpa was their coach, and they they were all. I don't know why St. John's was so good, but
That's
but
cool.
they were. Were you a good speed skater?
I was average. I was,
Yeah.
I feel I was above average probably.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I imagine
it was
you were pretty
fun.
fast.
Yeah. And my dad speed skated, and it was so funny when they put in that high altitude. We would come down from Helena and bring our kids, and my dad would join us, and he was probably in his late 70s, early 80s, and he would speed skate with us.
Really?
Yeah.
So he was a skater too?
He was a skater. Yeah.
What was your dad's name?
Rich Lyons.
Rick. What's how about your mom? What's her name?
Her maiden name was Evans.
Evans.
But it was Arlene. Yeah.
Are you related to like Rick Lyons, or are you?
Not the one that went to Butte Central, but I have a Rick Lyons that went to Butte High. So there was
really?
two families of Lyons
There's two.
there.
How about the one that Becky Lyons? I went to
Nope.
school with Becky. Okay,
Nope.
because she's Dougie Peoples' mom.
Oh, okay. No, I'm
You know,
not
so
related
I
to
thought
her.
maybe you'd be
Yeah.
Dougie's. Could be a relative.
No, too bad. No.
Yeah, because Dougie and Ryan, they're
Yeah, really.
pretty good athletes.
Really good athletes. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was a tough girl too. She was. I always tell everybody that it wasn't Doug Peoples that made this kid tough. It was the Kennedy girl. You know, because
I believe that it's the Butteians in you. You know, you can take the girl out of Butte, but you can't take Butte out of the girl.
Yeah, and did you were a figure or not a figure skater, but gymnastics.
Yes.
Is what you did. Mm-hmm. Did you do that from a pretty young age?
Nope, I started when I went to Butte High in 10th grade, and
No kidding.
was on the team, and that was our PE credit too. So we could practice as in the early mornings we practiced, and we could get our PE credit. And I made the team and competed there, and then went on into college.
Yeah, that was another thing that was really big was gymnastics.
Yes.
When my cousins always did it, and then when my daughter wanted to do gymnastics, there was nothing in Butte for gymnastics.
Right, they didn't have a club here.
Yeah, so there was. I made her a balance beam.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I took a 4x4. I took some pads and I did. Made this nice balance beam for her. And by the time I got done with it, then she lost interest in it.
Oh, dang. Yeah, no, it's a great sport. I just feel like it's a great all-around sport for kids.
Yeah.
It just builds so much confidence and your strength and your flexibility, and it just can carry on into other sports.
Yeah. So were the girls pretty excited then when they added basketball? There wasn't volleyball yet.
There was not volleyball. Volleyball didn't.
It's funny that volleyball. You would have thought volleyball would have been first.
Yeah. Nope. I think so. I think everybody was kind of like, oh, let's try this, and go out. But I'll never forget, we played Deer Lodge, and Deer Lodge had started 1 or 2 years before we did, and they had the Bignell sisters from Avon, and oh my gosh, they crushed us 80-something to 29 or something. It was so embarrassing, but it was so fun. Yeah,
that family's still embarrassing.
Yes, they are. They're an amazing family.
Yeah, there's if you got a big Drummond had some big nails, and Deer Lodge had big nails. I think they,
and some ended up coming into Helena too.
Did they?
Yep, some of the girls did.
Because I think there was a big nail on dang near every one of Jim Oberweiser's state championship teams.
Totally.
Drummond,
Yep.
And they were one of the reasons why they wanted to.
Oh,
not just
totally.
a team member.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Just a great family. I don't know many of them, but I just know that name.
Yep.
So well. So who was your coach in basketball when you started?
Ed Yo
You
was my
also got to
coach.
play for Yo.
Yes.
Oh,
So he was the first coach, and Marich was the JV coach. I can't think of his first name, but yeah. So they were.
Was it Sonny Merge?
No. Maybe.
Because Sonny just passed away.
So he was a teacher too.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Sonny. I just know Sonny wrote a few books, and
Yeah.
it's Kyle Merch, his dad is.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah.
Look into that. Yeah.
You'll have to. That's a good story.
Because I golfed I transferred from Central to Butte High after my sophomore year. So I played golf for Ed Yo, and I love that man.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was the most calm, polite guy. Never really got mad at anyone, for coaching girls. I mean, that's a whole different thing. Not everyone's made to coach women.
Yeah. Did you guys win a lot of games?
No, we didn't.
No?
We were learning. We were new. It was kind of weird. They didn't have AA, A, B, and C yet. It was kind of regional.
Yeah.
So we played Deer Lodge, Anaconda, Dillon, Whitehall, Bozeman, Butte, Livingston, Helena, so it was area.
Yeah. Who was some of your teammates that were good?
Well, let's see. I played with Patty Hanley. Patty Kelly was really good. The Lee sisters.
No.
Their dad helped build the lady. They were good.
Oh, okay.
Terry Cayulius was on there. Lori Bruin. Yeah.
She's got so many Hall of Fame plaques as an assistant coach.
Oh, yeah.
She coached so many.
She did. She coached I remember her coaching volleyball at Butte High, and then helped with the softball and stuff when they added that. And yeah.
Yeah, she's been part of just so many great teams.
Yep.
Over the years, and so then gymnastics was your other sport.
Yes.
And track.
Yep.
And that's what took you to Montana State, right? Gymnastics.
Yes.
And what were you good at? What was the gymnastics?
My favorite event was the unevens, but we always went all around in college. You didn't always compete all around, but you always practiced every event. But my specialty was unevens, and then I liked the floor.
Yeah. What year did you graduate from Butte High?
76.
And then so
the fall of 76, I went to Bozeman.
So you were there for the football championship.
Yes, I was.
Right? But that had to be pretty fun.
Yeah, that was fun, and it was so funny now because we have season tickets to the Bobcats, and we're kind of where we sit, and down to the right of us is where the student section used to be. I mean, it wasn't that big of a place, and students would just be able to come in, and now they have to get in line to get tickets, and
Yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of Butte people going to MSU back then. Of course, there is now, but they were more prominent back then. We just had Tommy, I guess, but
that's
didn't get any
cool.
more prominent than Tommy.
No kidding.
I don't think there's any Butte kids on the football team this year, but a lot of Butte students.
Right.
But back then though, there was like 8 or 9 Butte guys that were playing big roles.
Yes.
They weren't just on the team; they were.
They were major
contributing.
factors of contributing.
Some
to
of
their
them tied to
win.
this building here at the Ewlands. The Ewland twins on the.
Oh yeah.
They were so dang good.
Yep.
And gymnastics, I don't know when they lost their gymnastics program over there.
So we lost the well, let's see, I'm trying to think. High school lost it in 1989, and MSU was probably a little bit before that when they lost it. But yeah, what a sad deal.
Yeah, which is just, I mean, obviously funding probably, but with Title IX, you think they would have tried to keep the women's sport.
Right, but then at that time is when they were adding volleyball in the high school, and then parents wanted softball, and so there was a big push to add more team sports, which was sad because when gymnastics got dropped in the high school, those kids aren't ball sport kids. A lot of them aren't, you know, and so then they were lost. They're like, what do we do now? So they cheered or on the dance team and stuff, but it was a sad deal when we lost gymnastics in Montana.
Yeah, you might see some of the best athletes in the whole school, but they're not. But they don't have a ball. They don't play with the ball. So
exactly.
Then they're left out in the cold.
Yep.
It's just it's kind of the give and take. When you add something, you're taking something away, which is too bad. It
was sad. We fought for it for 2 years to try to keep it through the MHSA when I was coaching and stuff, and we did keep it for 2 years longer than they wanted to, but then eventually it's like, nope, liability and the cost to run the programs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is there, Helena, do they have clubs up there?
We do. We have 2 different clubs, and actually the one club opened a club here in Butte now, too.
We got one here?
Yep.
Do you teach it at all anymore?
Not anymore. I went last year and watched my little granddaughter, who was 4, and was like, okay, I have to just be quiet and keep up here of what they were working on and stuff, or how they were teaching. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, because you obviously know a thing or two about it, how you'd be teaching it.
Exactly.
It's tough to be the parent and grandparent.
It is.
Sometimes with the coaches, I find myself, in football games, I would just sit in the end zone at the ranch and watch my son play. I'd be in the very back row in the end with binoculars just to get away from the other parents.
Yep.
I didn't want to yell at the coaches, and I don't, I respect all the coaches.
Right, exactly, but still.
But even then, I'm like, well, what the heck are they doing? Things that never, when I was just writing as a sports writer, I never questioned these things. But when your kids playing, you're like, why?
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't want to be that guy, so I stayed as far away from everybody.
That was good. I probably should have done that.
but it's of course, there's nothing better than watching your kids compete.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's So I wish he had a few more years to play football at Butte High just so I could see him in uniform.
Yep. Exactly. Those are the years and the camaraderie that you got with their friends' parents and stuff, and then when it's over, you're like, oh my gosh, like what happens now?
Yeah. Congratulations to this week's Luscovar Honda Athletes of the Week, the members of the Butte Rats Special Olympics basketball team. The honors come after the Rats captured the championship at the Special Olympics State Basketball Tournament, which was held November 6th through November 8th in Helena. The Rats beat a team from Kalispell in the championship game, avenging their only loss of the tournament. Players in the team are Joe Gibson, Jeff Williamson, Mark Taylor, Thad Powell, Nikki Cherney, Jay Hollywood Foley, and Amber Baca. The team is coached by Eddie Walker and Ed Foley. During the tournament, the team not only had a ton of fun while winning the championship, they also represented the mining city with class and dignity like they always do. They epitomized everything that is great about the Special Olympics. The Rats are already looking forward to defending their title next November when the tournament comes back to Butte. Congratulations, Butte Rats, and thank you, Lescavar Honda, for recognizing these hardworking athletes of the mining city.
Hey, Butte America. John Davis here of Lescavar Honda with some fantastic news. From now until December 31st, we are giving $2,500 cash back on any used car purchase. Use the cash any way you want. Pay bills, holiday shopping, or just take a discount on the vehicle. This is Lescavar Honda's way of giving back to the community. Stop on down and see us. Lescavar Honda.
Visiting your neighborhood Thriftway Superstops was already your favorite stop of the day. Now it is even better. Join the brand new Thriftway Loyalty Club to rack up big discounts, earn free stuff, and receive more TLC with every visit. Download the TLC app and take advantage of great deals on pizza, grab-and-go favorites, fresh brewed coffee, cool fountain drinks, and much, much more at your neighborhood Thriftway Superstops. Loyalty Club members also save 5 cents per gallon off top-tier Conoco fuel every single day. Plus, earn points at the pump and in the store.
Casa Grande Steakhouse serves steak and so much more. You cannot beat their seasoned hand-cut Rocky Mountain ground beef. But did you know about their menu filled with made-to-order pastas, chicken sautés, mouth-watering seafood, appetizers, enticing desserts, or their most recent addition, sushi? Thursday nights are sushi nights at Casa Grande's, where you will be welcomed as a part of the family. Casa Grande's can also handle all your catering needs with style, class, and a taste that cannot be beat. Visit Casa Grande Steakhouse inside the historic Bertoglio Warehouse at 801 South Utah Avenue in Uptown Butte. Call 406-723-4141 for reservations. Check out their menu at casagrandesteakhouse.com. Casa Grande Steakhouse, eat where the locals eat.
Is your house too cold or is it too hot? Either way, Lockmer Sheet Metal is here to help. With more than 40 years of experience in the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning trade, Lockmer Sheet Metal strives to bring you quality service and knowledgeable work to help with your HVAC projects or needs. Lockmer Sheet Metal offers repair services for all forced air, central air systems, installation of new HVAC systems, service contracts for maintenance and service, all residential and commercial applications, fabrication of sheet metal for all types of projects, and ventilation and exhaust systems. Call 406-782-2224 or visit LockmerSheetMetal.com to warm up or cool down with Lockmer Sheet Metal, your local dealer of Trane heating, cooling, air handling, and ventilation products. For all your home heating and cooling needs, remember Lockmer Sheet Metal.
Are you looking for a place to host a special event or a party? Or just looking for a drink served by the best mixologist in town? Look no further than 51 Below Speakeasy and Casino. Take a step back in time and enjoy some of our signature cocktails such as an old-fashioned or a pink mate. Stop in for happy hour Monday through Thursday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday for $2 cans of your favorite beer or 2 for $5 seltzers or well mixers. Or try one of our tap beers for just $5 along with weekly specialty cocktails. Located underneath the Miners Hotel, where Butte locals receive a 20% discount on rooms, 51 Below has live music every Friday night. So stop by 51 Below Speakeasy and Casino for a good time with good friends and great drinks. And don't forget to dial 5.
You want to watch your favorite football team on Sunday, but it isn't on TV? No problem. Go to Meadows Sports Bar and Grill and check out all the games. In addition to a full-service bar and a menu full of terrific entrees cooked to perfection, Meadows also has the Sunday ticket. Kick back with some raised fingers, the best pizza in town, and a refreshing drink as you root on your team on one of 31 big screen TVs at Meadows. Don't miss a moment of your favorite team with Meadows Sports Bar and Grill, where the food is the star. Meadows is open at 11 a.m. every Sunday during football season.
There's no story so good that a drink from Park Street Liquors won't make it better. From the finest whiskeys and regional spirits to the latest RTDs and select wines, Park Street Liquors has all the ingredients to make your parties and stories legendary. Park Street Liquors can also assist with your corporate event or wedding by helping create and plan your wine and spirits menus. You name it, and Park Street Liquors has it. Stop by and see Tom and the crew at 133 West Park Street or call 406-782-6278. Make your stories legendary.
So did you study education at MSU?
I did. I went into physical education, so I had a K through 12 degree in physical education with a health option.
Yeah. And then you, so you competed all 4 years?
I did.
Really? How far did you guys go?
We would go to regionals. I don't think at that time any of our teammates made nationals, or even if they had a nationals at that time.
Yeah.
Regionals was a big thing if you got to go to regionals and stuff and compete in there. And we had some good athletes from Montana State that, placed pretty high.
How about you? Did you place?
No, I was just average. I actually hurt my knee in high school and never got it treated. And then my junior year, I hurt it again. So I was injured, and so that kind of held me back on some of this stuff. But finished through my senior year.
Well, like an ACL kind of injury?
It ended up being an ACL, which at first MSU, when I went to the doctors there, they're like, "Oh, you hurt your MCL," and I'm like, "Okay, so what do I do?" And they just rehabbed and stuff. But then about 15 years ago, I went to John Michelotti up in Helena, the orthopedic, and I go,
Cohen.
I can't even run anymore. Like, it swells up, even walking the block. And I go, I know I have no MCL. And so they checked it out, and he goes, jump on this table. And he gets up and he goes, Linda, you absolutely have no ACL in here, and you are bone to bone. So 2.5 years ago, I had a knee replacement. Yeah.
Probably life-changing.
Yep.
Did Dr. John, does he do the
You know what? He did not at that time. He was only doing shoulders, and you could either go to a couple other orthopedics in Helena.
He's one of my favorite people.
He's so awesome. He's so awesome,
hopefully you didn't have your surgery, or didn't visit him on a Monday after the Bears lost. That's what his dad tells me.
No.
He says if you go see him, you never schedule an appointment with John on a Monday in football season, because if the Bears lose, he's too bad.
No, he's such a great guy, and has contributed so much into the Helena community of athletics and stuff.
Yeah, and then he's got a office in Butte.
That's what I heard.
But I don't know I think he's still going to see patients here because Helena Orthopedics is being bought by St. Peter's.
Right, so they are no longer separate. Now they're all one. I just saw that. I think today I read that.
Yeah, and unfortunately I found out about it about a month ago because they were one of my advertisers on the podcast. So I found, but I think Dr. John's going to still hopefully see people in Butte. Of course it's not that far to go.
Exactly, but it's nicer to be able to have like older people and stuff, not to have to travel and stuff.
Yeah, it's or even me, because that's you might have had a bad drive down. Was it snowing on your drive?
You know what? It was a little wet and stuff, but it was pretty good this morning. We were nervous.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when I was watching the news last night, and they said there's a winter storm, not a watch yet, but potential
advisory.
And Mike Hurd was saying that, and I was like, hopefully Linda can make it in.
You know what? We're so used to driving that road that we've driven it in all kinds of weather. Yeah. And my son actually drives back and forth every day because he's the postmaster here in Butte.
Oh.
And lives in Helena. Yeah.
That's quite the drive. I can't imagine doing that.
There's tons of people that do it. If you really look into it, it's like, wow, you guys drive this every day? Yeah.
Yeah, I had to be at an appointment one time. Couldn't miss it, and it snowed like a foot.
Oh, shoot.
So we just planned. I just left 3 hours early and drove. So I had a all-wheel drive.
Exactly.
I figure I made it, and it was like 25 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
All the way to Helena.
And the worst part is always Oak Park. Either way, it's Oak Park.
Awful.
And then Boulder Hill usually, but otherwise they keep it really good. We saw like 3 snowplows this morning coming in.
Oh, that's good. So when you graduated from MSU, did you go right to Helena then, or did you work other places?
You know what? I did. I went up there and did my student teaching. I actually had put into student teach here, and then all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I need to just expand my wings, and I need to try something else. And I had a good friend that lived up there, and she was teaching actually. And so I put in for Helena and got up there and did my elementary and high school student teaching and started coaching like right away while I was still student teaching.
Really?
Yeah, and it took me 3 years to get into the district for teaching, but I subbed and I took people's leaves and stuff, and I just wanted to stay in Helena. I loved their PE program. Was one of the best programs in the state at that time.
And you coached at Helena High?
Well, I coached 3 years of track at Capitol because that's where I student taught, but I coached right away at Helena High with gymnastics. So I was a mixed person.
Both, that's yeah. We used to tease Sarah Palmer. She coached the swimming team.
Okay.
Butte High, and they added Central, and she had a little vest that said Bulldog and a maroon. And I said, Coach Ron's got one just like that.
That's so funny.
But there's not a lot of people that can mingle back and forth between Butte High and Butte Central. But Capitol and Helena, that's a great rivalry.
Yeah, it's a huge rival. People were really nice because, like, in gymnastics season, I'd wear the Bengal stuff, and then track season, I wore Bruins, and then once I became a Bengal, then I just stayed there. Yeah.
And what year did you start at Helena High?
1983 was my full-time teaching job, but I started coaching gymnastics in 1983.
So you coached gymnastics, track,
and then cross country. Mm-hmm.
And you have a state championship in all three sports.
I do not have a state championship in cross country, but we placed third last year, and that was the first trophy they had gotten in 34 years.
Okay, it's a trophy. I remember the trophy.
Yep.
So you got a state champion. Are you in the?
I am in the coaches' corner.
I was going to make sure because Carney, I would be mad at him if he didn't put you in the coaches' corner.
No, he did,
and they put us in the vault today. So
yeah, really.
I could look at it. But that's one of my favorite things is that coaches' corner.
That was so cool.
Did you come here when they first opened it?
Well, when we got into it, Shirley Chesterfield Satin from Helena, who graduated 4 years ahead of me from Butte, they had got a hold of her and said, hey, we're doing this coach's corner. And I think they had done a year before then or something because there was already some in there. And then Bill Carney's like, well, Linda Paull has 2 state championships too. And they're like, who?
Well, it's amazing the people you'll hear from that you don't, like Diego Hammond. Hammert or Hammond? I can't. He's track. Because his track coach. His track. I put his plaque in because after Pat passed away, a lot of people throw the stuff that Pat did at me, and I don't have the same passion for. I do for a lot of ways, but I don't have the time Pat Carney had. I guess probably.
Right. or the history, really, Bill. I mean, you're really doing awesome for what you're learning and stuff. But I mean, that was Pat's passion.
Yeah. So I've put probably about 10 different plaques that I've written stuff up for Dave. Because Dave wants to keep that tradition going. When we find somebody else, like we found, like Hunter was the soccer coach, and Bozeman. He won, but he's up at Helena now.
He's at our girls at Helena High.
Yeah, I ran into him this summer up there at the Capitol.
Yeah.
And he's he's in there. And there's several people that went in there, but I was thinking Bill Carney would not have let Pat not know about the Helena girl.
Right, and he did not. he has been my biggest supporter ever. I can't thank him enough for believing in me and
Yeah, he used to for years. He'd come down with Helena High and he'd be doing the stats.
Right.
And I loved it as a sports writer because I keep my stats, and then after the game he'd hand me the printed out box score that was had everything on it, so I didn't.
Yeah, they had a computer program that was amazing that they used.
And he did that for a long time, and of course he loves sports, and he started the Helena, or was part of the Helena Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And you're in that Hall of Fame.
I am.
So you're in 3 Hall of Fames.
I am.
Was it the Coaches Hall of Fame?
Montana Coaches Association.
Helena Hall of Fame, and then the Butte Sports Hall of Fame. I won't ask you to compare them because that would be not a fair question at all for you. But you did go into the Helena Hall of Fame, 2 years before?
Yes.
Butte one?
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really rewarding also. I mean, all 3 of them are just, I'm just blessed to have had the opportunity to be chosen on all 3. The Helena one is for coaching, so that's a different one than being an athlete here.
Yeah.
But it just is amazing when the community recognizes you and votes you in and stuff. And
Do they have a jacket or anything like that?
We do not have a jacket there. We get a mug.
Yeah, because the Montana Football Hall of Fame has a green jacket now.
Oh.
And that's what I told them. They stole that completely original idea from Pat Carney, who stole it from, the Masters.
Exactly.
He stole it from, other Hall of Fames and the Masters jacket.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty cool. That's one of my favorite things is the green jacket ceremony of that. And hopefully you can come back next summer.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was it made you feel that much more special to have that green jacket on and be one of the members of the Green Jackets.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just such a neat tradition. Pat, they didn't do it right away. I remember when Pat was bringing it in. It was probably like 10 years after, he was sending out orders to all the past past Hall of Fame members to go buy a green jacket from Thomas's or from Lyons, and I think just about everybody did.
Oh, wow.
Because so many come back. It's great to see some of these old guys who went in the first time, and it was just great seeing Sonny Holland. I think he was part of the first class. And, he'd always come back with his green jacket.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's such a great tradition, and it's so cool to be part of. And I was always a skeptic of it, when I went in, because I remember Paul Riley years ago had a quote that Matt Vincent and I put in the paper, said, everyone's born into the Butte Sports Hall of Fame and you play your way out of it, Of course, I played my way out of it. Most of us do, but, it was just a funny line that was to get under Carney's go, because we like teasing Carney. And then the first time I went to it, I think it was 2013.
Okay.
The first time I went to Green Jackson, I was like, wow, this is awesome. It was one of the coolest.
Amazing.
I was there, took pictures, and my buddy Josh Paffhausen went in.
Okay.
And I was completely converted. And then after Pat passed away, I went to Jim Michelotti invited me to they wanted to go to lunch with me to talk to me about some plans they have for the Hall of Fame. And I went down there with my notebook in case I had to do a story, and my excuses why I didn't have enough time to be on their selection committee. And then when Don Peoples sat down, and then Mick Delaney came sitting down, and I knew I was in trouble. Mm-hmm. And they wanted me to be the executive director, not just on the committee. And then I figured if I said no to that, I would have Pat Carney visit me in my sleep every night. And I do not want Pat Carney visiting me in my sleep every night.
Well, you're doing great. I really appreciate how you've worked on getting more things equal and working with that, and with Kathy Tuddy. I cannot be more thankful.
Yeah, and having Tuddy on there, she's just a take charge person.
Oh, totally.
Was she a classmate of yours? Or?
Well, she I originally thought she graduated with us because she did a lot of things with us. She graduated the year after I did. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's a take charge, and I love it. She's exactly what we need, and she replaced on the committee. She replaced Deanne Johnson left the committee.
Oh, okay.
Right before that, and she came in and took her jobs over for I gave everything that DJ did. I gave it to Tuddy because I knew she would do it, and she would do it in militant fashion. Mm-hmm. People were going to be lined up. They were going to be in alphabetical order.
Exactly.
Going into that.
Yeah, it was just like military clockwork there.
Yeah, because you don't mess with Tuddy, and she's been terrific. But
yeah.
So was that were you surprised when you got a call that you were
I was totally surprised, and it's a funny story, and I don't know if I've told you, but so I get this random iMessage from Kathy, like, hey, can I have your phone number? And I'm like, my gosh, to my husband, I'm like, do you think this is real, or is it a joke, or like, what's happening? So I'm like, well, I'm not going to respond yet. So I reached out to her sister, Maureen, because I know her really well from Helena, and I'm like, hey, can you see with your sister if she's trying to get a hold of me or what? And she's like, yeah, it's legit, Linda. I'll pass your number on to Kathy. And I'm like, okay. And then I text her with that, or I had her number too, and I text her and I'm like, hey, is there something I can do? And she goes, I'll let you know in a few minutes.
Yeah, she was pretty excited to make the call. That's the funnest part about being in that, because we do it in the team room.
Oh, okay.
Before we go to here at Medals, and just the calls after. I mean, it's kind of sad in a lot of ways, because some people are fighting to get these people in. Right. And there's so many. I mean, you could take a Hall of Fame out of the people who didn't quite make it.
Right.
And it's so many great ones. But to calling people, because somebody knows, because everybody knows at least somebody out there,
Right.
And I didn't know everybody. I didn't meet you yet before that. So I thought Kathy was going to make that call, and somebody wanted to make this call. Ray J called Schulte.
Oh my gosh,
It's just, and of course you hear the tears on one end, and there's tears on our end.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it was like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, seriously? Are you really serious? Like, this is the coolest thing. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and that was, and so far I've done it since 17, 19, 22, 24, and everybody's come to it. No one's said can't make it.
Right.
And there's people who've come a long way. I mean, Helena's not that far.
No, that's pretty quick.
But you guys could have drove. You didn't even have to stay. But but people came from all over the places, even for their teams, like the people that come in for tech teams, that make trips from Texas or Florida and stuff just to come in and see that. It's just so great.
But it's so cool. It's just so rewarding, to have something like this, and to really know that people believe in you, and like, this is worth it, and you need to get there. You do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the company that you're in, and that class, in particular, was great. Like, I mean, there were some.
so amazing.
There were so many. There were some trailblazing women in that class. I mean,
Yes.
like Martha Launer was the
Yes.
first. She was Martha Apostle Launer. She
Yep.
was the first letter winner at Butte High.
Oh, totally.
And I think there's a lot of boys resented her having that letter jacket back in those
Yep.
days. You know, so she was a barrier breaker. You know, just think of all the stuff that Betty Merrifield has done
Oh, yeah.
over her years. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and she was. I had her on the podcast before the Hall of Fame when she went in. She was talking about how they didn't hire teachers who were married.
Right. You couldn't. Well, and even after that, when they at least hired you, when I first got to Helena, they wouldn't let husband and wife be in the same building.
Yeah.
If you were both teachers, you were in different buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see that went on, and then of course, you know, Erin Popovich, you know, what the struggles that she went through, and you know, I had her on the podcast a few weeks ago, and I was talking to her about, you know, it mentions one of the Hall of Fames that she's in mentions how she was competing against people with able bodied. I said, I never saw you, when I saw you swim, I never saw you as a disability.
Right.
I saw you as someone with superpowers.
She's
You know?
so amazing.
Yeah, and she's she's doing great things and just a great person. So it was a great class to be with, and plus there's a lot of great the guys that went in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was a good class as well. You know, and Bruce Saylor, of course, one of my
He's
all-time
so
favorites
cool
to go
too.
in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great class, and you know, I really look forward to seeing what the next class is going to be.
Exactly.
You know, because I have no idea, because I write down who I think that was going to get in.
Okay.
And it's not even close.
Really?
Maybe
Okay.
two of them. You know, it's just because I'm not thinking who should go in. I don't write.
Right.
I think who's, you know, I like, okay, I was talking to my wife. I think they're going to go this way, just trying to figure out the vote.
Okay.
After and then no, it's different. It's, you know, people say, what's the secret to getting in? Is it someone that speaking for you at the forum, or is this that? And I go, it just depends.
It just depends.
Just, you know, it's every committee's a little bit different. Everyone's going to vote different. You know, we got some great new committee members coming in this year, so they'll have their different take on it. You know, and we got a couple of really good. We got Meg Hare.
Oh, awesome.
Murphy is one of them I put
Yep.
in there. So I'm really looking forward to hearing
Yeah.
Meg. You know, because she's not going to shy away from
No,
it either. She's
no.
going to make sure that the women get
Are represented.
Yeah, so
Yep.
I'm really happy with her coming in.
That's awesome.
So what did you like coaching best then? As the gymnastics, or was it the?
You know, I don't
Running.
know if you can pick one of my three major sports, because it was just, they were all so different.
Yeah.
And the uniqueness of them, and then the athletes that you got to work with were just incredible. And, you know, it's just, I can't even pick, like, athletes that were my favorite, because there was some in every single sport. The funny story, when I took over cross country, because I was a sprinter in high school, I learned a whole new value of what these kids really do to get where they get to. And we were doing the Ridge Ride in Helena. It goes across the ridge, and it's like 7 miles long, and I was riding my bike because that's when my knee was bad. And I stopped and I called my husband, because that was like my first big outing with the cross country team, and I'm like, these guys are like a bunch of mountain goats. You should see like where we're at and what I rode my bike up through. And I just respect all athletes of everything they do. And the commitment that they give you. And it's so fun. The rewarding part of it all is when they come back into town, or they reach out on Facebook and they still are friends with you. So you've built a great relationship that way.
That's awesome. The Jewelry Design Center is owned and operated by Butte High and University of Montana football legend Brian Toon. He helped deliver a state title for the Bulldogs in 1991, and he helped deliver a national title for the Grizzlies in 1995. Now, let Brian help deliver the perfect piece of jewelry for your special occasion. The Jewelry Design Center is the largest independent supplier of diamonds in the Northwest. Because they are jewelers first and foremost, they make better buying decisions, and that means better quality, better pricing, and knowing that they can maintain and guarantee anything they sell for a lifetime. Brian Toon and Company want to be your jewelers for life. The Jewelry Design Center has stores in Spokane, Kennewick, and Missoula. Call the Missoula store at 406-419-2501 or visit jewelrydesignCenter.com today. Lockmer Plumbing is more than Butte's complete union plumbing shop. Whether it is sponsoring Little League Baseball, high school athletics, Montana Tech, youth racing, 4-H, Mining City Christmas, Action Inc.'s Homeless Solution Program, Head Start, or Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Butte, Lockmer Plumbing is always looking out for the people of the mining city. Owned and operated by Troy and Amy Lockmer since 2002, Lockmer Plumbing can handle all your residential, commercial, and industrial plumbing needs, as well as making repairs and installations on all plumbing and boiler systems. In the heart of Uptown Butte, Lockmer Plumbing can also assist on new construction and planning for your new home or development. Call 406-782-2224 or visit lockmerplumbing.com today. Lockmer Plumbing has your pipes covered and so much more.
Oh, look, there's another one. Your favorite tavern, neighborhood gas station, and video stores have all been turned into the same thing, a casino. At Crazy Carol's, we've been doing things the right way for more than 3 decades. So let me introduce myself. I'm Deb Dinius, the manager of Crazy Carol's Casino Mill Bar, where you'll always find fun and motion and service that sets us apart. Take a trip off the beaten path. Come on over to the Hood. We're located on the corner of Walnut and Hayes, where you'll find the big red barn just off the shores of beautiful Lake Berkeley. And don't forget, Bucko the Horse is available for photos. At Crazy Carol's Casino and Mill Bar, we're still so grievous after all these years. Thank you, Butte.
Everybody knows the place to go. Crazy Carol's Casino and Mill Bar.
Whether it is large or small, think of the Knights of Columbus Hall for your next celebration. The recently renovated hall provides a spacious and modern venue that is perfect for all occasions. That could be a wedding reception, family or class reunion, or a fundraiser. Stop by the KC at 224 West Park Street and get lost in time at Butte's Best Sports Museum. If your parents or grandparents played a sport in Butte, there is a really good chance you can find them in one of the 1,200 or so photos. You might even find yourself. The KC is also a great place to watch the big game, catch up with old friends over a beverage, or get in a workout downstairs in the Knights of Columbus Athletic Club. Call the KC today at 406-782-2891 to book your party or to join the athletic club. The Knights of Columbus Hall. It's the place to be. And cross-country workers, or runners, work so hard.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, I learned that, I played football. I didn't, freshman year, essentially. I didn't play my sophomore year. And Pat Carney was a cross-country coach.
Yep.
And they needed a couple runners to have a team so they could score at state. So he's in the hallways telling, hey, you could run, you know. And it's funny, so I went out, Greg Spear and I joined the team. And I learned how hard they work.
Yeah.
And he didn't even make us go through the long runs. Like, he was just getting us up to be good for 3 miles, you know. Well, sometimes they'd be running 10-mile runs.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and which, you know, later I ran marathons, and
right.
It didn't seem as long, but in high school it seemed crazy. I'm like, this is way harder than football practice was, and I thought football practice sucked.
Yeah, it's just that you have to be a special, unique person.
Yeah, you got to be
to do that,
to like it, to run it, and to like it.
Yeah.
You got to, you know. And this year I looked at Butte. My brother coaches he's assistant coach in the Butte High.
Oh, he is.
Team.
Okay.
And I was looking at their times, what they did this year, the Butte High cross country team. I'm gonna bet that their time wise, they're one of the best teams Butte High's ever had.
Oh, I think so. They looked so good. I worked
they finished like
7th, and they were like up there, and it was fun to see.
Yeah, but they still finished like 9th at state, which just shows you how good. It's like I look at golf scores, I'm like blown away by them. By the high school, you know, how good they are now. But cross-country runners are so good right now.
They're just getting better and better and better.
Yeah.
It's so much amazing how fast they are becoming.
And that's something you can measure, too. Like in football, you can't say, oh, this team is the best team.
Right.
In cross-country, you look, well, these guys were faster.
Yep.
You know? And, so it's just impressive how seeing some of these teams running. Bozeman, I don't know what Bozeman puts in the water that there's so many cross-country runners like that.
I know it.
But their JV teams would be probably
they would be a lot of
in,
varsities around the state.
Yeah, they may have taken home some trophies over the years.
Yeah.
JV runners.
Yeah.
You know, when their varsity was winning it. But
yeah.
So and you rode your bike with them a lot?
A lot of times I did. I rode.
Yeah.
I would try to run, so I was always the turtle at the back of the pack, making sure everybody was safe and not getting lost or you know, skipping out on things. So I'm like, I'm just the turtle in the back of the pack.
Yeah, that's something a football coach doesn't have to worry about, or a basketball coach, because you're all right in the same area.
Yeah.
Cross country, you're running around town.
Oh, everywhere. And in the mountains.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a couple times that kids took the wrong turn, and then you're like having to backtrack trying to find where they're at, and it's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
And then track, you were the head track coach?
For a while, and then became assistant. So I was a head track coach for 8 years. In 2000, we won our state team, and I resigned at that point because my own kids were coming up through, and they were playing Arsenal soccer, and I was missing their stuff on the weekends and stuff, and I'm like, I can't do this.
No, you can't miss your kids' stuff.
No.
So then you worked as a...
So then I went to assistant,
Yeah. That seems like the track coach kind of thing. You know, like Dan McGree, he was a head coach, and then he was an assistant, and then he's a head coach, and now he's, he's
Right.
always going to be coaching, even if he's not officially on the coaching rod. And that's my favorite thing about track at Butte, is because, the divide between Butte High and Central does not exist in track.
That's awesome.
Because, like Dan McGree worked with the Erica McLeod, one of our greatest athletes,
totally.
And he worked with her and stuff, and took her places. Charlie Merrifield worked with his daughters on the hurdles.
Yep.
Because and it's just they're like colorblind, and Charlie, you look at Charlie and you just think Butte High,
right?
But he didn't care what.
No, he just wanted kids.
He didn't care if you were a Helena High Bengal. If he could give you a tip to make you better, Charlie was going to give you that tip, and that's why I like. And track's kind of like that.
Way. They
not just for Butte High and Central, but for everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People just admire a good performance and a good attitude and stuff.
Yep.
And that's why track meet was always my favorite event to cover, state track.
Yeah, it's so cool. And I would, as a track coach and coaching hurdles the last few years, I would always watch other hurdlers warming up to see what I could take from them. Like, oh, I like that drill. I'm going to use that drill now. And you learn from each other. And if you don't learn every day while you're coaching or teaching or whatever, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Did you run the hurdles?
I did not. They asked me to, and I'm like, I could run under those hurdles.
Yeah, because I think on your bio for that we had for the Pat Carney put your bio together for before he passed away for the nomination to Hall of Fame, and it listed you as 5 foot nothing.
Yep.
And I'm thinking most hurdlers are a little taller than 5 foot.
A little bit. Even when I coached hurdle, they'd go, Miss Paull, like, did you hurdle? I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the harder things to do too, because to learn that and to time that down. And it's such a great. Like the 300 hurdles to me, it's got to be one of the hardest events around.
I totally believe that. Yeah. And now though, I mean, it's a tough race. And then when they go into college, they do the 400 hurdles, and I'm like, oh, that's another 110 meters.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But the 800 anymore is like a full out sprint.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. Yeah, the 800 used to pace yourself and
but
then
now
take
it's
off.
not.
And that's a long way to run.
Yeah.
That fast.
Yeah. It's remarkable. It's just remarkable what these athletes are doing. But you look at the facilities and you look at how they're trained and stuff, and then you look back to the 70s when we were there, and you didn't, it's like night and day of comparison of training.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool, though, to be a state champion coach, though, when you guys get that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of team members, too.
Yep.
There's more than, like, on
And
your
track,
basketball
yes.
team.
Yep.
You might have, of course, I guess Class C, sometimes there's 2 people that
win a state. Yeah.
And I guess Mary Gallagher pretty much won.
Yeah.
She pretty much won the state title for Central by herself.
Yep, totally.
But there's usually, there's
and double A, it's more rounded.
Yeah, there's it's a pretty big team. So it's more than just the 5 or 6 that play in basketball.
Yep. It totally is. And it's amazing, when you compete and that everything is thrown out on the day of the competitions. But when we had papered it out that year in 2000, Billings Senior, we were like, oh, they're much stronger in the field, and they're better here, and they're better here. And then on that given day, our kids just stepped up, and our throwers just, like, beat out them. And we had some long jumpers that made finals that you didn't think were going to. And that's what it's all about, the competition.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great week. Of course, weather plays into a factor a lot of times too, especially here in Montana.
Definitely.
Where you get different times when there's been times when I covered track meets for the standard when I come home just fried.
Yep.
There's other times I come home shivering.
It is.
Because you never know what you're going
to
get.
You never know in Montana in the spring what's going to happen.
Yeah. Where did you guys win it at?
We were in Bozeman.
Yeah.
Yep, at Bozeman High.
Van Winkle Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it had rained a couple days before it, and that first day of state, and then the second day it just like cleared up, and it was nice.
Yeah, I was at 2000. I was covering. I wasn't at that one. I was at a lot of them. I was at the Central was winning the state softball title.
Okay. Yeah, they had a dynasty for a while too.
Yeah. Was it nice? So, you already told me it wasn't good weather there, but what was surprising about it? Was there one event that really threw you off that you thought, okay, this is the one that we wanted for?
I think it was our throwers in the discus and the shot. We had, we were just kind of there, but hadn't reached that hump yet. We knew our sprinters, and we had a good pole vaulter, and our relays both won, and that was not, that was pretty much set that you would think unless something happened on a relay. But yeah, I really believe it was our throwers that really stepped up and made the difference, and that was what was fun. Yeah.
What year did you win the title in gymnastics?
1988.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was fun also.
Yeah, where was that at?
It was in Helena.
Really?
So we were there.
You're the home team.
I was like 7 months pregnant.
Oh, no kidding. Huh?
Yeah, so that was funny. Yeah, my son was born in April, and I think state was like at the end of February. Yeah.
No kidding. So
Yeah.
that's when it was same right around time of wrestling and
Yeah.
swimming.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Same type of season ending at the end, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did those compare? Were one more special than the other, or is kind of like which kid's your favorite kind of thing?
I think it was just, I couldn't pick one over the other. If I had to pick, it would be going back to cross country, our third place, because it was so hard to place in cross country for so long, and you just had to have those kids dedicated and committed to your program. And when we placed third, it was like winning the state title for us.
Really?
Yeah. Especially since they hadn't brought home anything for 34 years.
Yeah.
Even that, both gymnastics and track at that time, we were the first ones that ever win it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never coached anything at a high school level. I coached Little League and grade school basketball and stuff like that. But there's always that moment when you see a kid that gets it.
Yeah.
The light comes on. I'd imagine that's probably the same thing when you're coaching at a higher level too, especially like cross country.
Totally.
When you finally get kids to buy in and you see that the reward when they get the reward like that, the third place trophy.
Yep.
That had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So now you're always a Butte girl though.
Always be a girl.
Yeah. What's it like when you're living in a place like Helena when Butte's kind of looked down upon by other people? I don't know if Helena necessarily, the whole state kind of likes to dislike Butte, What's it like to tell people you're from Butte when you're living in other places?
Well, it's kind of funny. Some responses are, oh, that's why you are like you are, or, make comments like that, or, oh, you're from Butte.
Yeah.
And you're like, yep, it's the best city. And you know what? I always tell people that it's so amazing how Butte rallies together and helps each other. And if you're from here, Helena's not like that. It's, I don't know if it's the political of the politic of Helena or what, but it's, you just don't have the compassion and caringness of what Butte does. And we really found that out when my husband's family, when his mom and dad passed away, of how Butte people just stepped up and just were there for you, whatever you needed. And it's really cool. I wanted to venture out. I wanted to try something different, and that's why I didn't come back to Butte. But I'm always from Butte.
Yeah. You're just an hour away.
Exactly. Not very far.
Yeah. Yeah, and your entire career there, that's pretty, that's something that you stayed there. There must be something that you really like about Helena, though.
Well, I really did, honestly, when I got there. Their PE program was amazing, and I wanted to be a good PE teacher. I wanted to be a good teacher and promote lifetime skills to kids. Helena, I love the community of that. The trail systems are amazing there, and then you're 30 minutes from the lakes, and so you're kind of central of everything in Montana where you wanted to go. And it's a cool place. It was a great place to raise my kids, and I'm glad we did.
Did they go to Helena High?
They did.
Yeah,
and we made that decision when we were looking to buy a house, my husband and I, and he was a mail carrier, letter carrier, and I'm like, we're gonna live on this side of town if we're gonna buy a house, because I'm not gonna be a split family. A lot of people are up there, are split families of where you live.
Yeah. Well, that's always been a great rivalry. I had Thomas Mullen was a guy I worked with. Okay. I had him on the podcast a while ago. He writes screenplays in Los Angeles now. But I told him, I thought you were a Helena High guy because you just didn't seem pretentious enough to be a Capital guy. And he goes, hey, because he played like on one of the first state championships in football before the runs,
Okay.
And he goes, no, it was the opposite of that. I said, I'm like, I don't know. Because we always, Pat Ryan was the sports editor in Helena for a while, and we always talked about how Capital fans complain more than anybody else at a game.
About Yeah,
I mean,
and the write-ups in the paper.
Yeah, and that's probably where he got it, because they're And we get that in Butte too, where at the standard, which I always was great that I went to both schools, so I could just diffuse that right away.
Right.
People accusing me of bias towards one or the other, but I think he got beat up by the Capital guys quite a bit, over that, and of course Capital was probably, they were better at football in that era when he was there. Right. And basketball, of course, I think
basketball was Helena High. That's what we always would say.
Because Coach Keller was at Helena High, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had Coach Keller, and I know, and of course he won. His teams were in the state championship game, boys and girls, all the time. All the time. Yeah. One of my favorite people.
Oh, he's amazing. My kids both had him for PE, and they just respected Steve so much, and I respect Steve so much.
Yeah. So you guys both worked at PE?
We both worked at Helena High for a while, and then he went over to one of the middle schools and stuff, and
Did you guys have to work together?
We did.
Yeah.
The PE department was pretty close-knit, and we always worked together on what we were doing and what areas you had, and, and then my son went and played basketball under Steve, but he played freshman level and then got cut as a sophomore. And Steve comes by me and goes, "You want to talk?" And I go, "Not yet." And I will, and he was always like that, always willing to help kids if they worked hard or would tell them what they needed to do and stuff like that. But you're so true on Capital and Helena High. This is what's funny is, now that East Helena opened their high school, Helena High's way down in numbers and stuff, and they're looking at redoing the boundaries. And so I asked our assistant AD, who taught at Helena High at one time, I go, "Why can't you just go straight down Montana?" And he goes, "Linda, you know that you can't just go down straight Montana. That doesn't work, and it's not going to work, and blah, blah, blah."
I imagine that's got to be quite the fight.
Yeah.
Because, moving back. Like, there was a thing that came up a year or two ago in the council commissioners they were redrawing the lines of Walkerville boundary as it came up, like they were going back to, and there was potential of telling some people that their house was not in Centerville, but it was in Walkerville. And I'm like, I grew up in Centerville. If you'd told me my house was in Walkerville, we had a fight.
No kidding.
But it ended up not changing anything. Because they found some old maps. But to tell people, tell a Capital family they're going to go to Helena High and vice versa, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. Matt Comack.
Yep, I know Matt.
One of my favorite Tech football players of all time. I had a long talk with him one time. We were just talking about why Capital was beating Helena High in football all the time. And he summed it up probably the best ever. He says, "We went into every game hoping we could win.
Not knowing.
They went in knowing they were going to win."
Yep.
And that was a big thing that they never quite got. And of course, head Coach Sampson was so good, and then Coach Murphy, and now Coach Mihelich. They had just these great coaches come over and over. And Helena High was always good. Coach Armstrong's team was always good. Right. But I just think that these kids from Capital it was
tradition, and they just would not let the group ahead of them or that before them, they wouldn't let them down. It was just bred that way. Yeah. And Helena High could never get over that hump. Yeah, my son and Matt were good friends. They played together and stuff. Yeah,
such a good guy.
Oh,
And he played back when he was still playing. Concussions were just something you got over.
Right.
He told me one game, he goes, "I don't even remember the last game." Gosh. And he started the next game because the concussion was Saturday. It's Tuesday now. I'm fine.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
But it's just amazing in the last 15 years how much we've come along with that. But but I thought that was just a great way of putting it, the belief system in athletes. And as a coach, you probably see that,
Oh, totally.
When your kids believe you're going to do something, you have a way better chance of doing it than if you think you might do it.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. Yeah. So some of the Helena, I really like covering the Helena teams.
Yeah.
I follow. Of course, there's a lot of those Capital kids and Helena High kids come to Tech.
Oh, totally.
And play football, and we got more than Capital even.
Yeah.
Or more than Carroll now.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
But I will always think though, I can't wait to see Kyle Mihelich again because he's another one of my favorite people. Right. But my sons, his last the home game they beat Capital to go to the playoffs. They clinched playoffs. So the playoffs didn't go very well, but they beat Capital and ended Capital's chances, defending state champions' chances of going back to the playoffs. So at least he got that going for him because there's a lot of Butte guys that don't know what it's like to be Capital.
Exactly. I mean, that was huge. Capital was definitely down this year rebuilding from graduating.
Well, that's why I tell Coach Mihelich he lost all those Butte kids.
Exactly.
His teams that won the state titles these last few years were full of Butte kids. There's Michelati, there's a Toivonen on there. There's just a bunch of Butte kids, and he doesn't like my assertion that he needs Butte kids to win. But but I think that, of course, Michelati's were great. Of course.
Oh, totally. Both both Brian and John's kids were good.
They did so well up there. So
yeah.
And did you get an in with the high school association? Like, because as a sports writer, I always was in with them because we had Joanne,
right? Oh,
and
Joanne,
and Michelotти and Beckman,
right?
There's so many Butte people up there.
Yeah. You could call them if you had a question or a complaint, and you would talk to the Butte people.
Yeah.
And they'd give you the answers or whatever that you needed to do and stuff. But you wanted to stay away as a coach. You wanted to stay away from the MHSA.
Yeah, and Haugen was almost like a Butte guy because he's so close to Joanne.
Oh yeah, they're just so awesome people. I love visiting with those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I that was one of my favorite things is when I would always, when Joanne would be running the basketball tournament in Great Falls or something, I would always, I love going to Great Falls for basketball tournaments. The crowds hated it because the gym was so, it's
right,
like
with those
the pole
pillars.
and all that. But it was always the best press table because it was the longest one. There's a lot of seats for the press. But I would always sit by Jim Haugen because he was always there. He'd have his iPad and he'd be watching the NCAA tournament stuff or different, conference tournaments.
Exactly.
And I'd be sitting there with him talking, just listening to what he had to say.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen him in several years since Joanne retired.
Yeah, they're doing great. This fall, early in the fall, we met. There was a group of us that met with Joanne and stuff. So we keep all of us, all women coaches, and Joanne keep together and communicate with each other.
Yeah, she was. What I always joke because Joanne was running the tournament at the Civic Center, and Eddie Kelly, Butte guy, always. I always joke that he never pays to get it anywhere. Brody used to tell me this. He was in high school before he realized there was a front door to the Civic Center because his dad take him to back. But Eddie would be like people would have a hard time getting down to Metro for a tournament, and he would just be there like he owned the place without a pass. I don't know how he did it, but one time he's sitting next to me talking to me at the press table at a tournament, and Joanne says, "Eddie, get the hell out of here! You're not fooling me."
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's not afraid. Of course.
Right.
She's a Butte girl as well. She's not afraid to step up and tell somebody to go to hell if they need to.
That's right. Yeah. Well, she really helped at the MHSA too, making sure women were equal and fighting for women. That's what I truly respected about Joanne.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a good place to live, though, Helen.
It is. It's a fun place, and
except for those 90 days every other year, right?
Yeah.
You get swamped with all the politicians.
Oh gosh, yeah. But it is. I like the community. We have some good friends, and I think our kids were good growing up there, and our son still lives in that community, and and he'll have his kids raised there, and actually they're going to be Bruins, so I'm trying to get over that.
Yeah, be hard to wear that brown, right?
I know it.
It's just so ugly, that brown. Oh. So you still have family in Butte?
My husband has 2 sisters, and their families are here.
That's why you're here for.
And that's why we're here for Thanksgiving. There'll be 23 of us tomorrow.
23.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun.
How many turkeys do they get for 23?
Oh, I think they just get a big turkey and some ham.
Yeah, a lot of side dishes.
A lot of side dishes and stuff, and it works. And we've got littles, and so it'll be really fun. And then always the day after Thanksgiving, we do tree hunting up outside of Helena, out by York, and all of the family will come up there.
Oh, you go looking for Christmas
we all
trees?
Look for trees. Yeah, it's really fun. Great tradition.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, and congratulations again on the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Third
thank you.
Hall of Fame. Is there a 4th Hall of Fame?
No, I'm thinking I'm good.
We got to come up with something that nominate you for something else there.
Well, I appreciate you and all your work and all the work that the Butte Committee does for the Hall of Fame, and I'll be here to support it to the end.
Yeah, and you're such a humble person, though. I can't imagine you'd volunteer in that, but I would have a business card if I were you that would list my Hall of Fame, at least the 3 Hall of Fames that I've been in, state championships and stuff. Did you get like a ring for the state championship or?
Yes. To the Montana Coaches Association, you can get rings.
But did you, for when you guys won the state titles, though, did they get like?
No, they don't.
Because I remember they used to have the little football.
I know, but they don't do anything.
They don't do that for
girls.
crap.
I'm like, you could have little gymnasts, but they didn't ever believe me.
No.
So nothing.
But
for
you
them.
won it though. And
Exactly.
You can't take that away ever, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming in today, and have a great Thanksgiving, and hopefully you find the right Christmas tree on Friday.
All right. Thank you, and thanks for all you do, Bill.